So, Target. Target. I don't get what these companies think is going to happen. And I love shopping at Target. Sometimes I just like to walk in there. I don't even have like an intention to buy anything. I'll just go in there on a random Sunday and just stroll. Sometimes I've done it for like 2 hours, just going through, just walk. I just love the atmosphere, right? The floors, they're just so clean and the carts are so smooth. And it's just a great environment. Target is such a great environment. So why do they have to go down this road? Why, oh, why? I don't know. But they've done it. Target has overtaken Bud Light for dumbest company of the year. So let's give it up for Target. Article came out basically breaking it down. It says Target has lost $10 billion in market valuation. Shout out to Target, right? If you haven't invested in their downfall yet, go ahead and do it. I think it's a good idea. They lost $10 billion in market valuation over the last 10 days as the popular retailer continues to face backlash over its Pride-themed clothing line for children. So basically, Target released their Pride collection, and I've seen it before, but I guess this year they put more of an emphasis on including children and children's clothes into the mix, and that really set a lot of people off. Now, before I say anything, the frustrating part about like things like this is how people, especially people within the Pride community, are being misled. They believe that Bud Light or Target really care about them and they care about inclusion and all that jazz. But they really don't. They care about money. They see a new market of people who can identify as whatever they want. So what that means is that this has opened up, at least what they think, a whole new demographic of people to target, to get them to buy products or whatever the case may be. And they show that hand every single time they're under scrutiny. I get you need money to make a business function, but these companies have enough money to last them for quite a while. Bud Light, Target, all these companies, they have enough money to keep it going even through some rough times. But whenever they face pressure like this, they fold. They get rid of the creatives behind the idea. They move stuff around in the stores. They get rid of displays, all of those things. Simply because it's not we care about you guys and we want to show you off or we want to show that we support you. No, it's we care about your money and we believe that this country in the world is moving in more of a progressive way. So we want to dip our foot in the water and see if it works. Now, if it does, then we're going to keep it. If it doesn't, well, then we're going to back out because it's going to hurt our pockets. So that's number one. Is anybody who claims this community to not be fooled by this because these companies do not care about you. They care about money. So that's the first thing. Second thing, Target is really scummy because of the lengths that they will go to and other companies alike to get money, right? Now, I get it. Everything is moving in much more of a progressive manner. Even though it's confusing to me, right? I still will never understand the concept of publicizing who you are attracted to or who you want to sleep with as if it's any of my business. Every group in the world feels like they're marginalized, but I don't necessarily think that warrants the go ahead to like celebrate one particular group or another unless it's for like a really specific reason. If it's just for, hey, we feel marginalized, now we want the attention on us for a year, or we want our own parade, or we want our own month, or we want our own section in the store. And this is for any group, right? Whether it's African Americans with Black History Month, LGBTQ plus SI plus. I 100% feel like I just said that wrong, but whatever, right? Whether it's with them and Pride Month or some parade or putting all of the information about your sexuality and who you're attracted to in like your Twitter bio, like all of those things, making your skin color or your sexual orientation your identity, right? Like wearing it on your sleeve and putting it in everyone's face is really, really odd to me. Because if it's really just about being authentic to you and who you want to be, why not just be content with expressing who you are, maybe to yourself or maybe to some close friends or whatnot, and then just moving through life like it's business as usual, right? It does, like these characteristics about us, yeah, you can talk about them, but it doesn't have to be so flashy all the time. But that's exactly what's happening. It's Target, they have their price section, and like I said, now they're putting an emphasis on children. They got onesies that say, just be you and feel the love. They got shirts that say, trans people will always exist. They have clothes now with tuck-friendly construction and extra crotch coverage, just in case you are a biological male who wants to become a female and you want to hide your penis. That way you can show to everyone that you identify as a female or a woman or a non-man, right? Because there's an infinite number of genders now, according to some dude on the internet. Now, you're never going to be able to please everybody, right? Regardless of how you operate or whatever it is that you say, you're always going to piss someone off. But it's funny the double standard that exists in this country, where if you disrespect certain groups of people, all hell breaks loose, right? You say something that people deem as anti-Semitic, and the next 70,000 commercials you see is donate to the Anti-Defamation League because we're so hurt by what Kyrie Irving or what Kanye West said about the Jewish community, so please donate. Or someone says something about the lgbtq 2s plus community.
That shit hurting.
And they just get banned, right? I mean, that there's not even a thought about it. And once again, I've said this before, I'm not inviting people to say hurtful things about these people. You can be critical of people, but being blatantly hurtful, I'm not inviting that. But there are certain groups of people who you can just kind of ransack and no one bats an eye. And I don't even really have to say it because I've said it a million times before. So right now I just feel like a broken record. But just look at the guy or the person, because this person probably identifies as something that is not even from this planet. The person who is the, I guess, lead designer who's spearheading Target's Pride collection this year. This man is a Satanist. He is a Satanist. And here he is rocking a shirt. It says, Satan respects pronouns.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are going to be okay.
He's got devil horns on his head, and on the shirt, it is some weird Satanist thingy with more horns. And then someone else, once again, probably someone who does not identify as something that I am familiar with. So I'm just going to say this person. This person must subscribe to that, must be a Satanist as well. They are rocking the shirt. Satan respects pronouns. They took a picture and they captioned it with, Satan respects pronouns and he loves who you are. Satan accepts people of all, several, and no genders. He appreciates gender nonconformity. He loves trans and non-binary people. I remember when this used to just be gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and maybe trans people, like just trying to get equal rights for like marriage and things like that. Right? Back during the Obama administration. I don't know what this is, but clearly it's disrespectful to a whole group of people, and that'll go unchecked by the masses because it's not that important to them, I guess. But what's frustrating about this is how normalized the inclusion of kids is in all this, right? If you're an adult and you want to identify as something that is not a male or a female, regardless of if I'm extremely confused about it or have no idea what's going on in the world anymore, you're an adult and that is your business. Now, my frustration lies outside of the children is when people begin to try to impose their will or their way of life on society as if they only feel validated in their identification if society conforms to who they are. And if they don't, well, then they're bigots or they're transphobes. That's 100% not fair. It's not okay. And to me, it's kind of a cheap tactic to get people to accept your lifestyle. If someone doesn't accept your lifestyle, especially if they're not like physically harming you, then just pack it up and move on and maybe go find people who do. But now they're getting more comfortable with involving children into this, and that's the frustrating part, right? Kids have big imaginations, and a lot of kids, they'll come to you and they'll tell you they're a bajillion different things, right? And I don't even want to call that confused. That's just their imagination. Where they become confused is when adults affirm who they are in an effort to be inclusive. But what you're really doing is taking advantage of a child who does not know better and who is being influenced by things around them, maybe at school or stuff that they see on TV or whatnot. So your desire to affirm a child who can't drink until they're 21, who can't vote until they're 18, who can't drive until they're 16, who can't get a job in most places until they're 15, and who science says the brain isn't even developed fully until they're 25. You think that they're capable of making a decision that says, hey, I am a completely different identity than what I am biologically? That is a problem. And once you start getting into identities and then even sexualities, I said it before, at the root of it, all you're really saying is who you are attracted to, or who you like to sleep with or whatnot, right? Barring that you are, I think the term is asexual. But if you come up to someone and say, hey, I'm a lesbian, well, that means you're a girl or a woman who likes other girls or other women. If a 5-year-old girl comes up to you and says, hey, I'm a lesbian, or hey, I'm trans, or hey, I'm pansexual, or any other identity, right? I don't really know that affirming that is the best course of action, because they are a child. So anything having to do with sexuality with children, I used to think was pedophilia, right? But now it's normal. And if you don't affirm them and whatever it is that they say that they want to be, or whoever they say they are, well, now you're a bigot. Now you're a transphobe. And yeah, depending on what you do, those labels do follow you, and they can be detrimental. Now, the problem in today's world is that it's so much harder to challenge people on this because of the growing nature surrounding the LGBTQ plus community.
That shit hurting.
It used to just be lesbians, gays, bisexuals. At least that's how I remembered it. Now, any person who identifies as something that is outside of just like a male or a female or a straight human being, they are now lumped into the LGBTQ 2SIA plus community.
That shit hurting.
And once again, I'm pretty sure I messed that up, but that plus is representative of like any other identity that is out there that is apart from male, female, or straight. That is anything that you can think of. So if you say something that might sound critical of trans people, well, then the whole community thinks that you're talking about them, which is not true. But that unity makes it so hard to challenge people on any topic surrounding this community. It makes it really, really difficult. But then it also makes it that much easier to push forth certain things, especially things that are involving children. Why are children being involved in sexuality? That doesn't seem like a good idea to me. But this force field, it almost feels like it's foolproof, right? They cite harm. The suicide rate is at 40% because people won't affirm me, or people don't accept my lifestyle completely, so it contributes to that rate. There's no data, no evidence, no research done that proves that there's a definitive link between not affirming someone in their identity and then the suicide rate in this community. Now, suicide is horrible. I don't like it in any case, and my heart goes out to anybody who is dealing with these things and feels that that's the route that they have to take. But to try to guilt trip people into conforming to your way of life by saying like they're contributing to the suicide rate just simply because of like words that they say or opinions they might have that might differ from you based on this community, that is so not okay. All you got to do is leave kids out of it. It's as simple as that. As a consenting adult, if you want to identify as something else, so be it. You are an adult and you can make that decision. But to involve children into this, that is a problem. And I think that's where people's gripe is with Target the most. Because this pride section isn't new. It's been in, at least I can remember, the past few years. But when you begin to try to incorporate children into the mix, you begin to try to slide it in or sneak it in as if people won't notice. You're opening yourself up to like being ridiculed, being branded as a pedophile. Balenciaga did it, and look how that turned out, right? They're putting kids in these weird clothes, and they have them holding teddy bears with like these chains around them and all this weird crap, right? It's kind of low-key being pedophiles, right? Just trying to slide it under the table to see if they can reach a new demographic. And it backfired, right? So, Target, please think before you act, right? And the reason, like I said, I say this is because Target does not care. They do not care about this community. They don't care about any other community, just like all these other big businesses. They don't, but the lengths they'll go to try to make an extra dollar by incorporating children into this is such a low, right? Kids, off limits. I don't know what's so hard about that. When I'm trying to think of the time, I just can't put my finger on it, where like this started to be okay. We're incorporating kids into things that were made for adults was okay. I'm not saying that it's never happened before, but it's like we tolerate it now. And then if you don't co-sign to it, well, you're every phobia or ism in the book. When did that happen? Fix it, Target. Please. I miss my Sunday walks through your store, but I'm not down with children and sexuality being involved in the same sphere. It's weird. And at one point in time, it used to be illegal. now I guess, I mean, all these people are engaging in it so much now it's just normal, which is really unfortunate. But you don't always have to follow the trend. Let kids be kids. And when they grow up, they can make decisions about their life how they see fit. It's a crazy world, man. It's crazy. A lot of stuff doesn't really make sense anymore. But I feel like one concept should remain constant throughout all of this. It's just to leave kids out of it.